The rag in her hand was worn thin, like her fingers, like her patience, like her dreams. Maria knelt on the marble floor of the Grand Whitmore Hotel, her knees sore and red beneath her faded jeans. The scent of bleach clung to her like perfume, if perfume could sting your eyes and remind you every second that you were invisible. She moved the cloth across the floor in slow, determined strokes, scrubbing away someone else's mess. No one noticed the cleaner, not the businessmen in Italian suits, not the influencers with glossy lips and fake laughter, not even the manager who always seemed to speak in a tone that hovered between impatience and disdain. She wasn't even supposed to be on the lobby floor today. But the other cleaner had called in sick, and Maria, as usual, had said yes without thinking. She always said yes. It was easier than arguing. And who would argue with minimum wage when the rent was due in 3 days and your little brother needed new shoes? A cold drip of sweat slid down her back. She paused to wipe her forehead with the edge of her sleeve, then continued. Across the marble expanse of the lobby, a pair of polished black shoes clicked with purpose. They belonged to a man, tall, dressed in a navy suit tailored to perfection, with a gold pin at his collar and a phone pressed to his ear. He exuded money. Not the kind that was loud or flashy. The kind that had been around for generations and didn't need to shout. He paused near the front desk. His voice was low and commanding, clipped with British precision. Maria didn't look up. People like him didn't see people like her. The moment passed. She dipped the rag into the bucket beside her, wrung it out, and moved to the next tile. She didn't notice that the man had turned, or that he was now looking directly at her. "Excuse me," he said. The words sliced through the air like silk. Maria froze. She blinked. Slowly, she turned her head upward. He was standing right above her. "I'm sorry," she stammered, her voice barely audible. "I'll move. I didn't mean to block the—" "No," he said gently. "You misunderstood. I wasn't complaining." She looked up fully now, meeting his eyes, deep brown and calm, like the surface of a lake at dawn. He crouched to her level, ignoring the shocked glances from hotel staff nearby. "You missed a spot," he said with a faint smile, pointing to a small streak near the corner of the tile. She flushed, embarrassed. "Oh, thank you, sir. I'll fix it right away." But he didn't move. "What's your name?" he asked. She blinked again. Her heart started to thump in her chest. "Maria," she said slowly. "Maria Alvarez." He nodded thoughtfully, as though committing it to memory. Maria. A beautiful name. Fitting. He stood up again, brushing invisible dust from his pants. "Do you always work this hard?" She didn't know how to answer that. Was it a compliment? A trap? A joke? I do what I have to," she said. He nodded once more. "Come upstairs with me." Her mouth fell open. "I'm sorry, what?" "To the rooftop lounge," he clarified, not missing a beat. "I want to buy you a coffee." I'm working," she said quickly. "I'm not allowed to leave the floor during my shift. I'll speak to your manager." Before she could protest, he was already walking toward the front desk. Within seconds, her supervisor was rushing toward her, his face pale with confusion and something close to fear. "Maria," he whispered sharply, "what did you say to Mr. Whitmore?" She stared. "Who?" "The man. The owner of this entire hotel chain." That was Alexander Whitmore. Her rag fell from her hand and hit the marble with a soft, wet thud. The millionaire. The man in the navy suit. He had spoken to her like she mattered. Like royalty. She followed, numbly as her manager escorted her to the private elevator. Alexander was waiting there, calm and collected. As the doors slid closed, she stood in silence beside him. She became painfully aware of her bleach-stained uniform, the calluses on her fingers, the sweat on her brow. He said nothing about any of it. Instead, he asked, "Do you believe in second chances?" The question caught her off guard. "I guess," she said. "I mean, they don't come often." He nodded, thoughtful again. "I make it a point to learn the names of everyone who keeps my empire running," he said softly. "But I'd never seen someone clean the floor with the kind of quiet grace you had. It stopped me." She swallowed hard. "People usually look away," she whispered. "Or step over me." He looked at her directly. "I didn't." They arrived at the rooftop lounge. The city spread out beneath them like a painting, glittering lights, busy roads, and 1,000 dreams unfolding in real time. He led her to a private table, where a server arrived with coffee and delicate pastries. Maria didn't touch anything at first. She was still trying to process the fact that she was sitting in a velvet chair while her coworkers downstairs probably thought she'd been fired. "I don't understand," she said finally. "Why me?" Alexander leaned forward, his elbows on the table. "Because life has a strange way of hiding stars in the dust," he said. "And I know a star when I see one."